The movie begins by showing a family of 4 members: Ki-taek, his wife Chung-suk, their daughter Ki-young, and their son Ki-woo. They live in a small house and are very poor, struggling to make ends meet. To survive, they work by folding pizza boxes, but the money they earn isn't enough to cover their household expenses. One day, Ki-woo's friend from university visits him and gives him a special stone, saying, "My grandfather asked me to give this to you." It is believed that whoever keeps this stone will have all their hardships disappear and their life will be filled with happiness. Ki-woo shares his family's financial struggles with his friend, who then tells him, "I am going abroad to study. I used to tutor this girl in English. Since I am leaving, you should take over my tutoring job." Ki-woo hesitates, saying, "I haven't even gone to college properly. They won't hire me." His friend assures him, "I will recommend you. Just get a fake degree certificate made by your sister." Ki-woo's sister, who is a graphic designer, creates a fake degree certificate for him. Ki-woo then goes to the house where he will be tutoring. The house is huge and beautiful, belonging to the wealthy Park family. This family also consists of 4 members: husband, wife, their son, and daughter. The daughter's name is Dahai, and she is the one Ki-woo will be tutoring. The family has a housemaid who has been working there for many years. Ki-woo gives a demo class to Dahai, and her mother listens in on the session. Impressed by his teaching, she hires him. Later, Ki-woo meets Dahai's brother, Dasong, and learns that Dasong loves painting. The family has hired many art teachers for Dasong, but none of them stayed for long. Ki-woo then thinks of getting his sister a job as Dasong's art teacher. He tells Dasong's mother, "My cousin is a great artist. You should hire her as Dasong's art teacher." She agrees. The next day, Ki-woo introduces his sister as Jessica, intentionally hiding the fact that they are siblings. In this way, Ki-young, under the name Jessica, becomes Dasong's art teacher. Jessica impresses the Park family by claiming to be an art therapist, and thus, both the brother and sister start working as teachers for the Park family's children. Since it's Jessica's first class, Dasong's father is also present. He asks his driver to drop Jessica at her home. In the next scene, the driver offers to drop Jessica at her house since it is already very late. But Jessica deliberately asks him to drop her at the metro station instead. While in the car, Jessica intentionally leaves her panty behind to make the owner suspicious of the driver. In the next scene, the owner finds the panty in the car and suspects that something inappropriate is going on between the driver and the art teacher. He discusses this with his wife. Later, his wife asks Jessica about the day the driver dropped her off. Jessica claims that she got off at the metro station and did not go home directly. After hearing this, the owner becomes even more suspicious and fires the driver. Jessica did all of this to get the driver's job for her father. She then suggests to the Park family that her father's brother is an excellent driver. Jessica introduces her father as her uncle, and he also gets a job in the Park household. Now, 3 members of Ki-taek's family, the father, daughter, Jessica, and son, Ki-woo, are working for the Park family. They all pretend not to know each other to avoid suspicion. Meanwhile, Ki-woo and Dahai start liking each other. Ki-woo and Ki-young then decide to get their mother a job in the Park household too. But to do that, they first need to get rid of the housemaid who has been working there for many years, which is not an easy task. They come up with a plan, knowing that the housemaid is allergic to peach fuzz. While the maid is playing with the dog, they secretly sprinkle peach fuzz on her, causing her to have an allergic reaction and cough severely. She is then taken to the hospital. Ki-woo's father follows her to the hospital and takes a selfie with her in the background. He later shows this photo to the Park family's owner while they are out shopping, claiming he accidentally overheard the maid talking at the hospital about having tuberculosis, TB. At first, the owner does not believe him. But then Ki-woo's father texts Ki-young, warning that they will be home in 3 minutes. Upon receiving the message, Ki-young quickly sprinkles more peach fuzz on the maid, causing her to start coughing uncontrollably once again. The owner returns home and sees the maid using a tissue and throwing it in the trash. The new driver, Ki-taek, goes to the trash bin, pours sauce on the tissue, and shows it to the owner, making it look like the maid coughed up blood. The owner then believes the driver's story that the maid has tuberculosis, TB. She requests the driver not to tell her husband because he would get very angry. The maid is then fired from her job. After that, the driver, Ki-taek, introduces his wife as a cook, claiming she is his brother's wife. She is hired as the new housekeeper. Now, all 4 members of Ki-taek's family, father, mother, Chung-suk, son, Ki-woo, and daughter, Ki-young, who goes by Jessica, are working in the Park household without anyone suspecting they are related. They cleverly change their names and behave as if they don't know each other. Their lives improve significantly as they receive good payment and food. In the next scene, the Park family decides to go on a picnic to celebrate Desong's birthday. Once they leave, Hee-taek's family enjoys themselves in the luxurious house, throwing a party and having fun. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Standing outside is the former housemaid. She says she left some of her belongings in the house and asks to come in and get them. Chung-suk lets her in. The ex-maid goes to the basement but does not return for a long time. Chung-suk goes to check on her and finds her pushing against a cupboard. The cupboard doesn't move because a plate is stuck underneath. When Chung-suk removes the plate, the cupboard slides aside, revealing a secret passage leading underground. The ex-maid goes down the passage and Chung-suk follows her. In the hidden room, Chung-suk finds a man. He is the ex-maid's husband. She has been secretly hiding him in this underground room for 4.5 years. The Park family is unaware of this room because the previous owners never told them about it. The ex-maid knew about it because she had worked in the house for many years. Her husband is hiding because he is in debt. If he doesn't repay the loan, the debt collectors will kill him. To protect him, she hid him in the secret room and has been secretly feeding him. She begs Chung-suk to continue giving him food once a week, offering to pay her in return. However, Chung-suk refuses and threatens to call the police. The ex-maid pleads with her not to do so. Meanwhile, Hee-taek, Ki-woo, and Ki-young are hiding on the stairs, secretly listening to their conversation. Suddenly, one of them slips and falls, revealing their presence. The ex-maid sees them and realizes they are all part of the same family. She quickly records a video as evidence. Ki-woo then tells his father that his leg is injured. Hearing this, the maid realizes that all of them are from the same family and that they cleverly got jobs in the house by pretending to be unrelated. She threatens to send the video she recorded to the house owner. Chung-suk pleads with her not to do so. The maid then brings her husband upstairs and orders the four of them to raise their hands and stand still. While they comply, she records them along with the table showing the remnants of their party. At this point, the family attacks the maid and her husband, seizes the phone, and deletes the video. While they are fighting, the phone rings. Chung-suk picks it up and finds that the lady of the house is calling. She says that the picnic was cancelled due to heavy rain and that they will return home in 8 minutes. She also instructs Chung-suk to prepare some food. They now have only 8 minutes to clean the entire house and make everything look normal. As Chung-suk is on the call, the other three keep the maid and her husband quiet by covering their mouths. They tie them up and hide them again in the basement before starting to clean the house. Exactly 8 minutes later, the Park family arrives home, finding everything in perfect order. They have no suspicion that anything unusual happened. Hee-taek's family members hide without being noticed. After dinner, the lady of the house tells Chung-suk about an incident when Desong woke up one night to eat birthday cake and saw a ghost. However, it wasn't a ghost, but the maid's husband, who the family had unknowingly seen before. They believed him to be a ghost because of his creepy appearance. As it is still raining, Desong insists on camping outside in a tent. His parents decide to watch over him and sleep on the living room sofa. Meanwhile, Ki-woo, Ki-young, and Ki-taek hide underneath the sofa, unable to escape. While lying on the sofa, the house owner talks to his wife, complaining about the bad smell coming from the driver, Ki-taek. He says the smell is unbearable, comparing it to the odor of old radishes or boiled rags. This smell comes from their poverty-stricken living environment in a semi-basement neighborhood where people relieve themselves on the streets. This is why the family members' bodies and clothes have a dirty smell. The owner's comment hurts them deeply because Desong once mentioned the same smell, saying his tutor, Ki-woo, and the housekeeper had the same odor. They once considered changing their soap and towels, but they realized that the smell isn't from the products they use, but from the poor area they live in. Hearing this, the family feels humiliated and saddened, as they are painfully reminded of the social gap between them and the rich Park family. After the owner and his wife fall asleep, Ki-woo, Ki-young, and Ki-taek quietly crawl out from under the sofa and return to their home. When they arrive, they find that their house is completely flooded due to the heavy rain. Water had entered through an open window, making it impossible for them to stay there. They are forced to seek shelter in a public gym along with many other people affected by the flood. In the next scene, Ki-young receives a call from the lady of the house. She invites her to attend Desong's birthday party, saying that her presence would make him very happy. She also invites Kiwoo, who is Dahai's tutor. Later, the lady goes out shopping. While in the car, she notices a foul smell coming from the driver, Ki-taek. She discreetly covers her nose with her hand. Although she doesn't intend to be rude, her action deeply hurts Ki-taek's feelings. The scene then shifts to the party. Kiwoo and his student, Dahai, are upstairs. Kiwoo asks her, "Are we the same kind of people?" She nods yes, but deep down, Kiwoo doesn't believe they are equals. He feels the weight of the social divide between them. He also worries that if the people hidden in the basement are discovered, his family's secret will be exposed, leading to all of them losing their jobs. Determined to protect his family, he decides to take action. He grabs the scholar's rock his friend gave him, intending to confront the maid and her husband in the basement. The maid had actually died the previous night. When they dragged her and her husband into the basement, she tried to escape but was kicked down the stairs by Chung-suk, leading to a fatal head injury. However, Kiwoo and his family are unaware of her death. Kiwoo enters the basement holding the rock but accidentally drops it. As he tries to retrieve it, the maid's husband, who has freed himself from his restraints, attacks him. He wraps a rope around Kiwoo's neck and tries to strangle him. He then hangs Kiwoo by the rope, but Kiwoo manages to break free and attempts to escape. However, he falls down the stairs, and the man brutally beats him with the rock, severely injuring him. The man then heads to the party area, where Ki-young is carrying a birthday cake for Dasong. He suddenly rushes at her and stabs her in the chest, causing a severe injury. Her father, Ki-taek, tries to stop the bleeding by applying pressure to the wound. The knife goes in deep, causing a severe injury to Ki-young. Seeing the attack on her daughter, Chung-suk rushes toward the man, and a fight breaks out between them. In the struggle, Chung-suk kills him. The house owner then approaches the dead man's body to retrieve his car keys, which are lying beneath him. As he lifts the body to get the keys, a foul smell hits him, and he instinctively covers his nose with his hand. When Ki-taek sees him do this, his expression changes. Enraged by the owner's disgusted reaction, which reminds him of the same disdain he and his family have faced, Ki-taek picks up the knife and attacks the owner. The owner needed the keys urgently to take his unconscious son, Dasong, to the hospital, but in the chaos, no one pays attention to Ki-young, who is bleeding out and dying. Ki-taek is deeply hurt because he realizes that the owner sees him and his kind as lesser beings. He understands that people like them will always be looked down upon. Feeling humiliated and angry, he snaps and kills the owner. After this, Ki-taek disappears without a trace. Ki-young dies from her injuries, while Kiwoo survives, but is left mentally traumatized. A case of fraud and conspiracy is filed against the mother and son, but the court lets them off with just warnings. In the next scene, the Park family sells the house to a German family who knows nothing about the house's dark history. Ki-taek is now living in the house's hidden basement. After killing the owner, he fled there to hide, and no one knows he is there. Using Morse code, Ki-taek flashes the lights on and off, hoping to send a message to his son, Kiwoo, letting him know that he is still alive and hiding in the basement. Kiwoo, standing at a distance with binoculars, sees the flashing lights. He decodes the Morse code and realizes his father is still alive in the basement. Feeling guilty over the death of the Park family's owner, Kiwoo stands before his photograph and apologizes. He then vows to earn enough money to one day buy the house himself. In his imagination, he envisions purchasing the house and then walking into the basement to reunite with his father, who finally comes out without fear. But this is just Kiwoo's dream. In reality, he is still poor, and his father remains trapped in the basement. The movie ends on this bittersweet note. Thank you for watching our movie recap. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing for more great content. Your support means a lot to us. Have a wonderful day.